Welcome back to the Team to Beat Miami Heat podcast, your one-stop shop for daily Miami Heat content. My name is Amir. So for today's episode, I want to talk about a move that honestly feels too logical for the Miami Heat not to explore. And I think the Miami Heat should seriously look into trading for Brook Lopez. The Los Angeles Clippers are a dumpster fire. They're struggling. They don't have any of their draft picks. They are going to have to give up their lottery pick to the OKC Thunder because of that horrendous Paul George trade. So even though the Clippers are a bad team and are going to get a top 5 pick potentially next season, that is going to go to the Thunder. So they have no opportunity right now. Their future looks bleak, and Lopez is barely playing for this team. He's only played 19 games, and the Miami Heat, we desperately need size, we need rebounding, and we need front court shooting. And the timing does matter because as of today, December 15th, free agents who signed with teams during the offseason are now eligible to be traded. And since he signed with the Clippers as a free agent this offseason, he is now available as a trade candidate for the Miami Heat. So this is one of those under the radar moves that the Miami Heat could quietly make to solve multiple problems at once. And the Heat are on a 4-game losing streak, yet they have a chance to be number 5 in the East after they play the Raptors tonight. So if they win, they can jump into the 5th seed. They're the 6th seed right now, and they've been hot and cold, up and down throughout the season. And they need someone like Brook Lopez to get back on track in the Eastern Conference. They were top 3 just last week, and the Eastern Conference is more competitive across the board, 1 through 9. But I think it's more open because there's no dominant juggernaut like the Celtics or the Clippers, not the Clippers, excuse me, the Cavs in the regular season. The Cavs are always a juggernaut in the regular season without LeBron, that is. And once it gets to the postseason, they usually taper off. But anyway, let's get into it. Let's start with the Clippers. They're not good. They're disjointed. They're inconsistent. They are just dealing with injuries all the time with Kawhi Leonard. They're still searching for an identity. And Brook Lopez is playing around 15 minutes a night and sometimes even less or not even in the rotation. And that tells you everything. The Clippers basically don't need him. They're an old team. I think they're the oldest or second oldest team behind the Golden State Warriors. And quite frankly, he's not going to be a part of their future. They need to blow it up. And I know they're not going to blow it up right now because, again, that pick is going to go to the OKC Thunder. So there's no incentive for them to blow it up yet, but they still can get rid of Brook Lopez to get maybe a second round draft pick. They need to recoup as many assets as humanly possible. And this is where the Miami Heat comes in. And one of the Miami Heat's biggest issues right now, again, is their size. They only have Nico, Kel'el, and Bam. Bam is undersized. Kel'el is in and out of the lineup. Nico is basically out of the rotation and unplayable, and he's been playing terrible this season. So we need size, we need rebounding, we need a real backup center, we need front court shooting. And Brook Lopez basically checks all those boxes. He's 7 feet tall. He's a rim protector. He's a legit pick and pop or pick and roll type player. He is a 3-point shooter. He's someone who understands defensive positioning at an elite level. He is someone that can guard power forwards and centers and would be a perfect fit as the Miami Heat's backup center. And right now, Spo is pissing off a lot of Heat fans because he's inconsistently playing Kel'el Ware. One night, Kel'el starts. Another night, Kel'el doesn't even get to really play more than 12 minutes. Another night, Kel'el gets 30 minutes. Like, it's just up and down with his rotation. Sometimes he uses Nico at center with Bam Adebayo, and that doesn't always make sense. Nico doesn't want to play 5. Bam doesn't want to play 5. He's constantly tinkering with his front court combinations and rotations. He's sometimes playing small with Wiggins next to Bam. Like, it's not a knock on Spo necessarily, but it is a roster issue. And I think Lopez immediately can stabilize that second unit, gives the Miami Heat another 7-footer. Having 2 7-footers on this team that are actually good would be huge. When Bam sits, you don't fall apart defensively because Kel'el is up and down. Again, he's inconsistent because he's only a second-year player, 21 years old. He has good nights on defense. He has bad nights on defense. He has good nights rebounding. He has bad nights on the glass. But with Brook Lopez, you get a little more consistency. You don't give up the offensive rebounds. You don't lose spacing. That's huge because Kel'el can space the floor. Bam could space the floor. Nico could space the floor. Why not add another big who could also space the floor. So you also get drop coverage protection, a big body who boxes out, a center um, who's again defensively one of the best rim protectors in the NBA, which is massive in what the Miami Heat needs. And just last season with the Bucks, Brook Lopez was averaging 13 points, 5 rebounds, 1.9 blocks, while shooting 37% from three. That could be huge for the Miami Heat coming off the bench. And if you trade for Brook Lopez, it allows Spo to finally maybe commit to something that makes sense, which is start Kel'el Ware next to Bam Adebayo. You're talking about going young. You're talking about developing young guys. You're doing a blended build as usual. We have Norman Powell, we have Tyler, we have Bam, we have Wiggins as our like veteran guys who are helping us compete. But then also, we have to develop these guys and see what we have. We need Hawkes. We need to find out, is Hawkes worth another contract? We gave one to Nico prematurely, so we need to find out, like, is Kel'el Ware going to be a part of our future? I think he does. He has a great high ceiling. I think he could be an all-star. We need to play Kel'el. We need to play Jaime. We need to play Pelo. We need to play our young guys. We need to play Nico. So when we play those guys, though, there's still going to be injuries or off nights, and I think that's where Brook Lopez can come in and stabilize the bench. So start Kel'el next to Bam Adebayo, where it gives you vertical spacing, not elite spacing, but he gives you spacing. He gives you rim pressure. He gives you energy. He gives you youth. He gives you size. He gives you rebounding, and he can give you scoring as well. So Lopez will then become the safety net off the bench. No more half measures. Start Kel'el next to Bam, but then also there's no more confusing rotations, and then there's clear roles across the front court. Nico and Brook come off the bench in replacement of Bam and Kel'el. Then you have Nico at the power forward. You have Brook at the center position. Everybody gets to play the position that they want, and that will help Spo be at his best, hopefully. But we all know that Spo doesn't do the best when coaching bigs. He loves playing that small ball. But again, Brook Lopez isn't just a big off the bench. He's a stretch five. He's a career 34% from three. He's shot over 38% multiple times in his career. So this is huge, and it matters because Bam thrives with space. Miami's guards thrive with open lanes. We do a lot of drive and kick, and we could drive, and then Lopez can bring the center out of the paint and catch and shoot and hit a ton of threes. His nickname was Splash Mountain, for heaven's sake. So Lopez pulls those opponents' bigs out of the paint, and that allows us to get some easier opportunities at the lane. And I think this is something that is feasible. Again, the Clippers are bad. They're not contenders. They're not maximizing Lopez. They need flexibility. They need some depth. They need future assets. And Miami doesn't need to give up much. And that's where Pat Riley can come in and work his magic. Low risk, high IQ. I think he could be a cultural fit. And I think Lopez is a great professional. And he's been big in huge games as well. So we know he's been an all-star in the past. He could play back to basket. He could shoot the ball, three ball. He is versatile. So again, this is not a splashy move, but I think it's something that fixes our backup center problem, improves our rebounding, helps us with shooting, stabilizes the rotation. So I'll ask you, Heat Nation, should the Miami Heat trade for Brook Lopez? Should Spo finally commit to starting Kel'el Ware next to Bam? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section.